Hello all 6 viewers. I thought it might be interesting if I did a bit of a spec list on the M2, and I was also wondering if anyone would be interested in me doing features on some of my friends' cars. A lot of my friends have pretty sweet cars, could do some nice features on them, go into depth and stuff, so yeah, if that sounds interesting, just let me know in the comments. Nice! Might as well start with the outside. It's my favourite bit. It's running on 18x10 ET25 Racing Division VR5s with 265/35/18 Advan AD09s. They're on the same size, front and rear. It makes life easier, can rotate the wheels and so on. And the square setup feels pretty good. Gives a nice strong front axle and lets the car rotate nicely, which I'm a bit of a fan of given my past. I've got a chassis mounted splitter that made. Obviously it's some marine ply, high tech, obviously, only the best, but it does the job, doesn't explode when you catch it on anything, and yeah, I think it looks quite cool. It reminds me of the old E36 M3 GTs that used to have that wooden splitter. If it's good enough for them, it's more than good enough for me. And moving to the back, got a Ridgeline Motorsport ring spec rear wing. Again, I only bought it because it looks cool. I don't know if it makes any difference whatsoever, but I wanted an M2 with a wing, so I made an M2 with a wing. Running the OEM brake calipers and discs with EBC RP1 pads front and rear. Chose the RP1s as they're supposed to sort of compensate for the over-assisted feel in modern cars, and yeah, the pedal's not super sharp, which is nice, and so far so good. They seem to wear well, they stop the car pretty well. I've not had any trouble with the brakes overheating, just juddery discs, which seems to be the norm with every car I've ever gone on track with. As you can tell, I really enjoy cleaning cars, and this car's no exception. It's in absolutely prime condition. No dirt on it whatsoever, just like I like. Interior, I've just got motor drive bucket seats, some SW Motorsport brackets, and nothing else to report other than that, but the bucket seats make a massive difference. And yeah, 6-speed manual, which again for me is a big plus on this car. DCTs and so on are amazing, but this just feels a little bit more old school because of it. Makes me get on with the car a little bit more. Engine standard, apart from the OEM boost pipe which exploded, so I've replaced that one. Other than that, it's just as it left the factory, which is fine for me. It's plenty fast enough. Moving on to suspension, I've got HSDs with camber top mounts, which is crucial really, having more camber because they just don't run enough stock. The edges of the tyres wear off really fast, and it's good that Driftworks do a kit with those camber top mounts in. Running 12 kilogram springs at the front, 18 kilograms at the back. We've just swapped to 18s from the 14s that came with the kit, and yeah, it feels like a positive change. It's kept a nice rotation to the car, but it feels more balanced overall now. Whereas when we were at Anglesey, we noticed it felt like it was rolling a little bit too much on the rear axle, pushing a little bit. So that feels like it's changed that from the sprint course. The front end felt very good. So yeah, positive change. Aside from the coilovers, we've just got a Power Flex diff brace under there. The OEM bushes are quite floppy on these, so it's a pretty good move to get that on. And the only thing left really is the geometry. You may have seen on the Driftworks video, we tweaked it a couple of weeks ago. Made sure it was more accurate than doing it at home in my garage with the strings and so on. So we ended up with minus 3.5 degrees of camber at the front, with 0.5mm toe out per side, and at the rear it's minus 2.1 degrees of camber and 2mm toe in per side. So it's a more generic setup, if you will, less aggressive with the toe. but the camber's still in the right place where I want it to be, because I didn't really plan on using it that much on the road, so I went quite aggressive with the toe numbers. But it did a set of tyres in about 1500 miles, so calmed them off a little bit. But initial impressions are it's really nice. It felt great at Curborough. Got Donington in a couple of weeks, obviously a lot higher speed, so we'll see how it fares there. But yeah, everything felt pretty good. The car was pretty fast at Curborough. So yeah, hopefully at Donny I'll get more footage. I forgot to mention a few things, so I thought I'd just add them now. I'm running a spacer on the front axle, 15mm, so it's effectively ET10 on these wheels. You could run less of a spacer to clear the coilovers, probably a 5-7mm, but yeah, I like the way the 15mm spacer looks. It feels the arch is nice, so that's important to me. I'm sure you could argue it, you know, has a negative effect on the performance of the car, but I'm not Ayrton Senna, I'm not going to know that. It's good enough for me, and the CSR race car runs a bigger spacer anyway, so if it's good enough for them, again, it's good enough for me. Speaking of the CSR stuff, I really do fancy some of the CSR wheels, the 10.5J ET46, which isn't an easy fit. You do need quite a large spacer on the front, but then I could potentially run up to a 295 square tyre all round, which would be pretty cool. So yeah, I keep looking into that. I'll see what the rest of the year brings. I'm not rushing into it because it's a bit of a faff to get them fitted. And then the last thing to note is I haven't really played with compression settings on the coilovers, so obviously I can wind them up, which I'll do a bit of at Donington to see if you know, change the balance of the car or just make it that bit stiffer if I need to. So there's plenty of adjustment left. So yeah, we'll see how we go at Donny. Look forward to it. But for now, a little lap of Curborough. A 59.2 second lap, which put me just behind Caterham in second. Pretty happy with that.